What's up, guys? Good morning to you. Hope you guys enjoyed the Hall of Fame game last night. How's everybody doing today, man? The new time here, live stream, Friday morning. I've got your questions. We're going to be talking about serial number cards, the differences between jersey match, bookends, that kind of thing. Got a lot of questions here. Got some questions about Prism Silvers becoming more and more common. What to do there. Looks like I got some questions about some Hall of Fame cards from Drew Brees. Hollywood Browns criminal charges, sleeper QBs or cheaper QBs, should I say, like Jared Goff, Zach Wilson. That's a very interesting one. Chris Sims was talking up Zach Wilson quite a bit last night on national television before the Hall of Fame game. That kind of stuff leads to some hype. We're going to talk about that. Third, just can't stop buying. Voodoo Rage, aka Troop, aka Lenny, has a question about shipping from eBay. Looks like Jim's got questions about Clearly Donruss. So, question about my recent mail day video, and let's see, Nico Collins news as well. I just got a tweet this morning as well that Chris Godwin is back at practice. He's actually practicing today. That is wonderful news. Music to my ears, as you guys know. Tampa Bay, right here, represent. So let's dig in. How'd you guys enjoy the Hall of Fame game last night? Is anybody awake out there? Yeah, it was interesting because, it was like a tease, right? It was nationally televised event and it was all hyped up, but there were no starters except Josh Jacobs was out there. Josh Jacobs was out there for quite a bit, actually, in the first half, and he was getting quite a bit of work. I'm like, that's the Josh McDaniels system, man. You can tell that he's going to bring that running back by committee approach from New England, and Josh Jacobs is expendable. Man. They're gonna use him. He's in the final year of his contract. He declined to exercise his fifth-year option. So because he was a first-round draft pick, and so he's being played already. He looked okay. He's not anything super flashy or explosive or anything like that. He's just a solid running back. Zamir White, he looked rocked up, man. He did look juiced up. Trayvon Walker got his first sack. He didn't really look anything special. It looks like he's going to need some time to develop, but obviously his stature and everything is big and he's physically imposing and everything. But he's not like a Nick Bosa out there or a TJ Watt, or a Micah Parsons to me. So it'll be interesting to see how he develops in the NFL. Anyways, let's dig into these questions. Oh, there is some people awake out there. Good morning. What's up, Andrew? How you doing, man? Happy Friday morning. Chicken wing breakfast AM crunch wraps. That sounds very interesting. I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna let you get in on those. Yeah, Victor, are you investing in Josh Jacobs? I'm not a big. Amir Abdullah, he had some nice plays. He had that touchdown. He did like that back roundhouse karate kick and everything. Derek's always awake. He probably hasn't gone to sleep yet. I think his bedtime's like 5 to 10. So this is prime draft time for him. So let's look at some of these questions here that I got. The first one was from TB12 over in the Patreon Discord. And he said, when dealing with serial number cards, which of these have the most value from greatest to least? Number one, the last number. Okay. So he's saying the first serial number. So basically 01 out of 99, the last number as a bookend, 99 out of 99, or the jersey match. Well, I'll tell you right away, it's definitely the jersey match. I actually pulled up, I'll share my screen. It's definitely the jersey match right here. So got some market intel for you guys. But if you look at Jerry Jeudy, for example, Jerry Jeudy's cards have gone up quite a bit, guys. He spiked in value when Russell Wilson was signed by the Broncos, and then he kind of leveled off and dipped a little bit as Cortland Sutton got more hype than him. And arguably Cortland Sutton still does have more hype than him after Tim Patrick was just injured, just based on the way those guys line up. And but Jerry Jeudy's got the Alabama helmet. He's got the youth on his side. So he's actually got more expensive rookie ticket autos, generally speaking, on average. But if you look at like jersey number match sales versus trying to find bookend match sales, you're going to find higher prices on jersey number match cards. There's quite a bit of demand for jersey number match. I think this is going to be the most popular and going to garner the highest resale value, followed by bookends. You know, I'm not necessarily, I like the matching. Honestly, I'll tell you from my personal opinion, I like to see the cards matching, the serial number matching. So I'm a bigger fan of the back end, like 25 out of 25 or 99 out of 99. I think that's cooler to me than 01 out of 99. I don't know. Some people are like, well, it's the first card in that series. Maybe it's the first card that he signed. Maybe, but I like I don't know, something about matching, the matching numbers to me. Maybe it's, it kind of clicks in my brain in it. And I think that's it. Like some people, I know Sean's got his favorite numbers. And some people out there, I'm sure, have their favorite numbers, and they really like, 07 out of 99 or 13 out of 99 or something like that. Maybe their favorite number is 69. They got 69 out of 99. I don't know. So, but I definitely see the highest resale value going to the jersey number match TB. What's going on, Sean? Good morning to you, sir. Good morning to you guys. Good morning. Only 5 tabs open. That's how you know it is 9 a.m. Yeah, absolutely. All right, so the second question is from Jason717 in the Discord. He says, with Prism Silvers becoming less rare every year, do you think collectors, investors eventually become less interested in those and opt for more scarce parallels? Absolutely. I think it's interesting because I think certain sets, I feel like they do reduce the print run of Prism Silvers, but all in all, you're right. They have become less rare because they've added additional photo variations. And so now you have multiple, like this year's Prism, you have 2 different base Prism Silvers, different photo variations. So you have that to contend with. So it's just more options, more availability. I've looked at the Prism Silver or the Optic Hollow, which is just a Prism Silver for Optic, as like an entry-level card because when you look at the base card, I think when you look at a lot of skill position players, it doesn't matter really how good they are. You could look at Jonathan Taylor, Justin Jefferson. That's still a $5 or $10 card virtually because there's so much supply out there. But if you go and look at their Prism Silver or their Optic Hollow or their Black Prism Silver, then all of a sudden Field Level Silver, Concourse Silver, Premier Silver, now all of a sudden those cards are a little bit more desirable. I kind of look at that as a new entry-level card for me. And I do think that a lot of collectors and hobbyists do opt for more scarce cards. I think with the increase in production from Panini, that a lot of people are going to virtually strictly serial number cards so that they know the print run of the card right on it. Or you look at stuff that you just clearly know is very short print. Like, of course, any of the cards that are advertised as case hits, like the Kabooms or the Downtowns, or the Zebra prints, or the Checker Prisms, or the Midnight Sparkle, type of parallels. Those are really short print. Or like the Pen Pals when they have red ink, gold ink, purple ink. Excuse me, and those are very short print. Or the XRCs. And shout out to Andrew. It's the last time he was on. He's like, I think those are about 150 or less. And plus those come out, those are issued for a player before everything else. So things like that when it's like understanding that if hobbyists understand that it's rare, then yeah, it will be rare and it will be desirable and it will have maintain a nice investment resale value down the road. But I think a lot of people are transitioning to serial number cards because it gives you that assurance. Generally speaking, it gives them that assurance of the print run and the supply of it. You know exactly what the supply is, and you can count that. Let's see. Of course, if you guys have any questions you want to drop in the chat. Whoa, man. 6 a.m. West Coast time. I got to get you guys up, man. You got to get going. Got to get that blood flowing, man. We're in the the preseason is getting ready to start. I'm finding a lot of guys getting hyped up, man. This is we got to get into 6th gear here. Joe Burrow Tiger Stripe Field Level may be the sexiest modern day card. Now I got to pull it up. Now I gotta pull it up. Because Carter talked about the zebra stripe Jamar Chase. And if you guys saw the Bengals' new uniforms this year, the black and white Bengal stripe uniforms, those are sick. Those are sick. Let's see if we could pull up the Tiger Stripe 2020 Tiger Stripe Joe Burrow and see how much that's selling for. See how rare it looks on here. It's gonna be hard to find. Know what I did find? Look at that RCG. No, that's some kind of grading company. Let's see. Mirror. I probably have to go to. No, I am in sold. Well, you know what I'll have to filter by is see if it just go highest, and it'll probably pop up at the top. No, is this 2020 Tiger Stripe Joe Burrow? It may be so rare that it hasn't sold in the last 90 days. Yeah, not sure that I'll. Is it Tiger Stripe or Zebra Stripe? I think it might be considered a zebra stripe. This one, right? This is what we're looking at. This in the field level variation. I mean, yeah, it's a perfect match for Bengals. Like if I was a Bengals super collector or Burrow, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, I'd be wanting to get that card of all of them. Let's see. Field level. No, I'm in sold listings, but yeah, that card's gonna be super rare, obviously. There's one for Patrick Peterson. I think it was sold for $9. Let's see. How many Abdullah or Stidham cards sold after their touchdowns yesterday? Yeah, I'm not sure that any of those sold, James, because we know that they're not going to be starting in week 1. It'll be interesting. Let's see if we got any Stidham activity. I looked at the market volume here, and Matt Ryan is hyped up quite a bit. So is Paris Campbell. Of course, we talked about Jerry Jeudy. Julio Jones is still seeing a lot of transactions. I just don't think that people are going to be investing in Jarrett Stidham just after a preseason game. I mean, he didn't really do anything special out there. But hey, what's today? August 5th? I'm seeing some transactions. Look at this, like sold August 5th stuff from Jarrett Stidham. All this stuff is sold August 5th. That's kind of like the New England Patriots effect right there. $1 on the base prism, but so nothing's going for too much, like National Treasures 2-color patch auto at a 99. There's definitely demand, right? I mean, quarterback, New England Patriots, that's kind of like that brand that he's got behind him. And the Raiders have a big market. So if anything happened to Carr, Stidham would kind of step in, and he'd definitely see some hype. I don't even know, does Amir Abdullah have? Amir Abdullah even have? Man, we're talking about 2015. So yeah, it's going to be another running back by committee approach in Vegas, Josh McDaniels. So it'll be tough to really hone in on one guy. But look at the transactions. I mean, we're already this is all this morning or after midnight last night into this morning. Nothing expensive. Rookie ticket autos out of 49 going for $4.79. He's also a 2015 rookie, so he's got some age on him. I don't know how many carries he's got on his resume per se, but yeah, I mean, he still looked like he has some juice in the tank. I really like the way Zamir White looked. I mean, he looked pretty explosive. He looked way more explosive than Josh Jacobs. So, I mean, I think that they're all going to get opportunities. Probably going to have spike weeks from all three of those guys at some point this year. Yeah, so super cheap. Definitely demand, though. You can see how sensitive the market is. Let's see. There's a question here from Victor I wanted to get to. Are you worried about Russell Gage cards if Godwin is back week 1? Also have Julio Jones there taking away targets. Yeah, but see, the thing is, we're really looking to preserve Julio Jones. I don't think Julio Jones, with his injury history, his injury history is long, man. It's longer than my grocery list for like the entire month. So I don't think that Julio Jones is going to ever have more than a 30 or 40% snap share. So he's not going to be out on the field, I don't think, for more than 30, 40% of snaps. Whenever they really need him to draw away, maybe double coverage from Mike Evans, depending on what Brady's reading in the defense, I think Russell Gage is going to be on the field a lot. He's going to be on the field. You can put him in the slot outside. And he's really good against press coverage. He's really good against man coverage. That was his skill set in Atlanta. He was also targeted quite a bit in the red zone. So you look at the games, even when Godwin was healthy and we had Mike Evans out there, Antonio Brown still saw, 6 to 9 targets. I'm not saying Russell Gage is as good as Antonio Brown, but that's the reason why Brady specifically recruited him to Tampa. And Chris Godwin's not going to just jump back into a 70, 80% snap share either. He's coming off the ACL, so they're going to ease him into it. We want to make sure that he is 100% good to go for the playoffs. Brady's building up into the playoffs. Like, the season is great. Like, he just wants to make sure to get to the playoffs. Brady wants to win a Super Bowl before he retires. So Russell Gage has got the youth. He's also got a clean bill of health. And so he's going to be out there on the field a lot, especially early. I wouldn't be surprised if Russell Gage has an incredible week 1, So I'm not super worried about Russell Gage. In fact, if there's any kind of dip on him right now, I'm actually kind of buying it because I understand the athletic potential he's got, and I still think he's going to get at least 6 to 9 high value targets per game, especially starting the season. And you never know whenever it just depending on how Brady's reading the defense, you never know when he's going to get targeted in which situations, and he can have those spike weeks and part of a playoff run with the Bucs here. So yeah, Gage is incredible. Tyler Johnson's still there too. He's kind of looking good still. He's not totally out. Kaiser, depending on how long you've held this card, absolutely. Josh Allen's got the most expensive quarterback rookie cards next to Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes. So depending on how long you've held this card and how much you bought into it, you could be looking at lining your pockets heavily. So, or you hold it because, like, who's going to really challenge the Bills for a playoff run? So you could hold it for the playoffs. That may be your best play there, just depending on if you need the money for your bankroll. Incredibly hyped up right now. We're heading into the season. Or do you want to hold it for the playoffs and then hope that they finally make it to a Super Bowl this year? They've been a bridesmaid for the past couple of years, but never a bride. So maybe they become that bride this year. Let's see. Man, I love it. What's going on? Chippy Rips, Hella Strojan. Should I invest in Jacob? Man, if you do invest, because he is gonna get a start, and now the Watson thing has been appealed, and Deshaun Watson may be suspended for the whole year. I'm guessing it's somewhere in the middle. Like, it's not 6 games, but it's not the whole season. Maybe he gets 12 games. Maybe he gets 10 games. Jacoby Brissett. Honestly, I would pivot from that and maybe invest in Nick Chubb. Or even Ernest Johnson, because maybe Nick Chubb gets so many opportunities that he gets kind of worn down a bit. But if he stays healthy the entire season, Nick Chubb he could have over 2,000 rushing yards. That'd be pretty incredible. You could even see Kareem Hunt have over 1,000 as well, and a lot of receiving yards. So if you are investing in Brissett, it's got to be a quick flip. And he's not young. It's not like we haven't seen what Brissett is. So there's not that FOMO there with him. We've seen him, and it's like he's decent at best. He can be a game manager. He can be serviceable in the NFL, but we know he's not going to do anything special. He's not going to have any massive performances, but he's also not going to have any implosions. I think 4 or 5 interception games. They're going to lean heavily on the run game and try and set him up with some play action and try and get the ball to their playmakers in space. Whether that's Amari Cooper, Donovan Peoples-Jones, David Njoku just got a big contract there, or Anthony Schwartz. So they have talent. They've got some nice weapons on the offense. And they just drafted David Bell, too, who's another really talented wide receiver. So, I mean, they have weapons. That's what their game plan is, man. Lean on that offensive line, that run game, set up some play action for Brissett. But he's not going to do anything special to really generate any type of hype or demand for his cards. No 5-minute intro this morning, Third. This is a solo live stream for Friday mornings where we're answering mailbag questions because the mailbag is super important to me. I want to make sure that if there's anything hot on your mind, that we get it answered on a weekly basis. I love to help you guys out here on the quest. So let's see. Yeah, shout out to Ernest Johnson because he has very few rookie cards as well, man. And he's shown to be very competent. Let's go back to the mailbag here. And this was Andrew from the 5 Must Players Have video. He's a big Saints fan, so he has some bias, but he wants to know what I think about buying Drew Brees and holding till he gets into the Hall of Fame or just holding long term. I think Drew Brees, obviously locked for the Hall of Fame. He's absolutely fine holding long term. Now, if you want to get the most amount of profit you can for potentially buying into Drew Brees right now, which we see like vintage, where I consider anything vintage as guys not playing anymore. So they don't have a chance to offer performance type of relevancy in the market. But if we look at Drew Brees, so you can see there's some percentage change down. So this is probably his most liquid card. This is going to be the one most readily available. You have a 505 pop count here on his base tops, 2001 base tops, PSA 10, and 41 sales over the past year, $360 compared to $900, $1,000 where it was in August, September of last season. You can see that card's just kind of steadily gone down as he's now a vintage guy. But when he gets inducted into the Hall of Fame, there will be a demand spike for him at that point. So right now is actually a good time to buy into Drew Brees and then just hold it. And let him spike when there's a big documentary that gets released for him or the Hall of Fame announcement when he's inducted, that kind of thing. That's when his relevancy will return. Maybe he gets a movie role or some other type of, he is relevant on TV still in broadcasting. So there's that, but that's not quite enough as he's not doing a game show like Peyton Manning doing the trivia. I think that's super cool. Like that offers a lot of relevancy. And Peyton Manning's just naturally a funnier guy than Drew Brees. Drew Brees, super great guy and everything, but he's not, in my opinion, he's not super entertaining like a Peyton Manning or even an Eli Manning. That's super funny. Yeah. Ruggs is now vintage. It's vintage. Yep. Yeah, vintage. I'm serious. I consider anything vintage. Guys not playing. Let's see what the next question was. So this is another question from Andrew. I know we're high on Hollywood Brown after his criminal charges. Yeah, but speeding charges, he's going to pay some lawyer fees. He's got deep pockets now. He's going to pay some lawyer fees, some court fines, maybe have to take a driving class. But that's it. I actually looked like here. Criminal speeding is over 100 miles an hour. In Arizona, it was like 85 miles per hour. Plus, there was a couple other stipulations where he could have got charged for criminal speeding. It's not a big deal, but that does show he's got some knucklehead in him, and he needs to get his head back in the game, man. Stop messing around. Absolutely look at Rondale Moore because he's young. He's got the youth on his side, and there was question marks, ambiguity around his target share, how it fizzled out towards the end of last season. We have a lot of vacated targets with Christian Kirk not there and DeAndre Hopkins missing the first 6 games of the season. We know how fast the Arizona Cardinals play, and therefore that presents more opportunities. Rondale Moore is electric in the open field. He's not a big guy. He's a little tiny guy. He's best comparable to Ant-Man, but he's super explosive, super fast out there. I mean, Ant-Man can do some damage. He squeeze through those tackles like nobody's business. So definitely look at some Rondale Moore. He is very undervalued. You can buy some nice Rondale Moore stuff pretty cheap. What are my thoughts on cheaper QBs like Goff and Zach Wilson? Well, Zach Wilson is a flip for me heading into week 1. I am not sold. I am picking the Ravens to beat the Jets week 1. I'm still predicting Zach Wilson to get off to a slow start in his second year. I'm predicting him to be better. I'm more keen on investing in guys like Elijah Moore and Garrett Wilson. But I'm not sold that Zach Wilson is going to take a massive step in year 2. I expect Trevor Lawrence to take a bigger step in year 2 than Zach Wilson. And I'm not sold on Trey Lance. I'm not sold on Trey Lance taking a bigger step. I'm going to have to see a little bit more before I start buying in to that kind of hype. And I'm sold on his rushing ability, but this is 2022. You're going to have to throw the ball a little bit as well. And so it's the same corollary with the question marks we have around Jalen Hurts still, because he's struggling in training camp. You could say, oh, good defense, got a really elite secondary on Philadelphia, and that's why he's struggling. But still, he's still struggling, and there's still those question marks. Can he actually throw the ball well enough to compete in these shootouts against the Josh Allens, the Mahomes, the Joe Burrows, the Kyler Murrays, that kind of stuff. So it'll be very interesting. The Brady's, the whole 9 yards. So Matt Ryan's looking incredible in camp too. So Zach Wilson flip for me heading into the season. Jared Goff, he's so cheap. Jared Goff is so cheap. Check this out. Jared Goff. See, the thing about like getting in on these guys is like Zach Wilson, I'm gonna still have to throw down some money. I'm still gonna have to throw down $300-400 on a rookie ticket auto. Because he's still young. We still are giving him the benefit of the doubt that he is really good, that he can pan out really good. Look at Jared Goff though, and you can get Jared Goff cards so insanely cheap. The Prism from 2016 is nice because you have built-in scarcity. It comes silver right out of the box for those rookies. And in PSA 10 format, that's nice. There's actually been some hype for Goff. They have a great offensive line. They've got great weapons. You saw the catch that DJ Chark just made yesterday in training camp. They're going to have Jameson Williams at some point getting in for after the first month of the season or whatever. Amon-Ra St. Brown's have you seen his practice drills catching 300 balls a day? That guy's got good hands. TJ Hawkinson, DeAndre Swift. So they just picked up Justin Jackson, who's an interesting sleeper running back that I like better than Jamal Williams. So 473 pop count on his PSA 10. It is up. The 52-week low was $29, but now the average is $70. So you can see there's definitely been an appreciation. Is it going to continue to climb, though? Well, that all depends on the Detroit Lions and if they can win games. Who are they playing in week 1? The Philadelphia Eagles. If they can win, if they can beat the Philadelphia Eagles, now we're going to start to see Jared Goff cook up. And we talked about all those guys that went 3-0 last year and how much their cards appreciated. Well, it started with winning the first game. They got to get through the Eagles in week 1. And 2016 product does have some inherent scarcity just because you're going back 5 years. So it's interesting. Let me see what I can find on eBay for Goff. It's a 9 for $23.99. Yeah, if I'm going to go Prism, I'd rather go raw. Get a little bit at a deal on a raw Prism because these cards do have pretty high gem rates, or get a PSA 10, or go for raw optics or something. If I could get, that's not bad right there. I definitely think he's worth having some exposure to. And I'd love to get, something super cheap. I'm curious to see what his autograph stuff is ending for now. You definitely see a significant appreciation in his cards going back a few months. There's been some hype for Goff, and these are still really cheap, like Immaculates for a quarterback out of 99, but it is a plain patch, but still $66. So these are still really cheap, and they could absolutely go up more, especially, if they, this is nice right here because BGS is very strict. Rookie ticket auto, you get the brand recognition. You get a 10 on the autograph here. It is an on-card autograph. You got 9.5 on the surface. So 8.5 on the centering. That's a PSA 10. This is probably a PSA 10 right here. So this would be a very interesting target. You can see as someone sniped it, one bid. This was just a few days ago. So yeah, something like that, I definitely think it's worth having exposure to. I wouldn't spend your entire bankroll on him, obviously. He's not going to drive a whole lot of FOMO, but he's got the draft pedigree. He's a former #1 overall pick, believe it or not, and didn't quite work out for Sean McVay and his system. So he was dealt to the Lions, but this is going to be his chance. This is probably the most hype you're going to see for Jared Goff. If he doesn't pan out this year, then the Lions could try and tank their season. I doubt it though, because Dan Campbell is a fierce competitor, and go for Bryce Young or CJ Stroud next year. There's a couple other interesting quarterbacks as well, or they just continue to try and build around Goff. But this is the best opportunity Goff's going to have. This is the best opportunity you're going to have to flip Goff cards heading into this season. And he needs a column on a spreadsheet head, yes or no. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Let's see what else we got out here. So Voodoo Rage Troop had a question about the best way to buy and print eBay shipping labels. And he was like, if I had a printer hooked up, what do I do? So have you sold a card on eBay? No, I'm sure he had. He had to have. I know he has, because he's texted me for some stuff that he sold. Yeah. So when you sell a card, there's a blue button that says print shipping label, and they'll automatically populate the address. And depending on the shipping service you selected, you just print it out right from eBay. Or you could go to a service like pirateship.com, and you can get the same rates as eBay, and they'll actually shop from FedEx, UPS, and USPS to give you the cheapest and allow you to add the insurance and all that kind of stuff right there. So you have a couple options, but I always print my labels directly from eBay, especially with the plain white envelope and that kind of stuff. That's the easiest way to do it. Third and Long says, should I be selling only now to buy in November? I can't stop buying. Well, shout out to Third, because I have trouble stop buying either. Got multiple packages right here. So after this mailbag, I want to record a mail day here a little bit later on this afternoon. And I don't blame you, man. There's still some deals out there, although they're getting a lot harder to find, guys. I'm seeing cards starting to appreciate at a much faster rate. Prices going up. So that is making it more difficult to get some really juicy deals. So I absolutely think you should focus on getting those cards listed and selling. If you have desirable cards that aren't in the market, there is a demand for those cards right now, and you can absolutely take advantage of that. There's even demand. Like, I just sold a nice Brandon Ayuk lot of base cards, believe it or not. There's a couple base prisms, an optic hollow. There's a lot that I've had listed for a while, but he's balling out in camp, man. It doesn't necessarily matter that he's young, he's competitive, he's scrappy, man. He's got super long arms, he's athletic, he's explosive. It doesn't really matter that he may not get a lot of targets from Trey Lance. He may not have a fantastic season. I'm kind of projecting him for like 700-800 yards and maybe 5-6 touchdowns, but that's about it. I mean, so and if the 49ers, let's say, missed the playoffs, or they're like 4-4 halfway through the season, then those cards are going to dip and they're going to go down in demand and price in November. So I absolutely think you should be setting money aside, saving up for November, because I always love investing in good athletes just in bad situations or on losing teams in November. I love doing that because those guys appreciate like crazy throughout the draft hype cycle and through in free agency and into the draft. But also focus on selling right now and be more selective. Be more selective on what you are buying. Look at those charts and those sold auctions. Let's see what else we got here. Jim Sawyer from our video on Clearly Donruss. He has a PSA 10 Mac Jones Clearly Gridiron Marvel. If I fully believe he will improve as an NFL quarterback, should I hold on to it as a long-term investment or cash in now as his cars seem to be selling at a hotter clip? Well, that's a difficult question, because if you believe he's going to improve as an NFL quarterback, then you should absolutely hold on to him longer term. A Marvel card is a case hit. That's a very rare card, and he's incredibly hot. He's the hottest 2021 rookie quarterback there is, and he's made a lot of improvements this offseason. You can see it in his stature. His physical conditioning looks night and day from it did last year. Looks like he's lost the baby fat. And Belichick has nothing but good things to say about him. He's not going to do anything that's really athletically flashy, but he's a great game manager. He's a great pocket passer. He's turning into a really well-rounded pocket passer. And I think the Patriots are going to have to throw the ball more this year, even though, Bill Belichick wants to play defense and run the ball. But I think he should take another step forward this year. I'm just not, with how difficult the AFC is to make a deep playoff run, I think Mac Jones is one of those guys probably going to see a dip in his prices in November. That's just my prediction. Now, the Patriots, they have such good coaching, they have well-rounded defense and offense that they're definitely going to win some games. Like, they're not going to, they're not going to, I don't see them going, 2-8 or 4-8 or anything like that. I see them having about a 500 win record, but, competing against the Bills and the Bengals and the Browns and the Ravens, and then the Chiefs and the, the Broncos, the Chargers. I mean, come on, man. It's like, how are they going to possibly – the Colts look incredible this year. The AFC is an absolute gauntlet that I just don't see the Patriots making a deep run. So, I mean, yeah, it all depends on what you need in your bankroll. What else is out there that's really catching your eye? And how bad do you need that cash? Nothing wrong with holding that card because it's really rare and it's in PSA 10 condition. Trek from my last mail day video. What's my strategy on listing something like the Kenneth Gainwell at $10? I could buy it now for $5 ship. Yeah, it's all about capturing impulsive buyers, Eagles fans. When they see Gainwell pop off, could be as early as week 1. We've already seen him have a great camp. I haven't relisted that card yet. I got to get better at listing cards. Actually, so I'm going to list some cards today. But yeah, that's it. $9.99, $1 shipping. It's nothing major. But absolutely, you could see Eagles fans. It's a green short print prism, so it's gonna have demand there for Eagles fans. Ryan Kreitch, what do you think about Nico Collins this year? Yeah, love me some Nico Collins. I think we're about to see wheels up for Nico Collins. God bless John Mechie. Hopefully he has a speedy recovery from leukemia and he gets back on the field next year after his treatments and everything. But you can look at the recent prices. Let's do some recent price analysis for Nico Collins here, second-year player. We talked about his wingspan, his height, his speed. He's got upper percentile athleticism. He's also going to get a big target share. I think he's a guy that's absolutely going to ascend this year. I think he was misused in college at Michigan, thanks to John Harbaugh. Or Jim Harbaugh, one of the Jim, blanking out right now. Anyways, you get my point. And I think that kind of hurt his draft capital a little bit. I think he's really good. And I think that Davis Mills is underrated in a lot of ways. And Davis Mills is going to throw the ball a ton because they're going to be in a lot of negative game script situations in the AFC South and just in the AFC in general. And I think Davis Mills is going to sling it, man. And Nico Collins is going to have a monster year. I think you see uptick in targets for Brevin Jordan. Brandon Cooks is going to get about 1,000 receiving yards, but Nico Collins is going to become somewhat of a household name. Strongly believe that. Let me see what we can find here for Nico. Oh, I put Nick. No, make sure you spell right, Andy. Wow, 2020 Immaculate Gloves out of 15. So he's still undervalued, definitely, because he's not going to get, like I talk about all the boxes that I like to check. And so he does check the athleticism box. Houston is a pretty big market as well. They have a pretty big fan base. He's got a good QB. I'm still a believer in Davis Mills. I absolutely think Davis Mills is going to have fantasy relevance this year. He's going to put up some solid numbers. And This is a very good price point. Natural Treasures, 3-color patch, numbered out of 25 for 130. You could see people definitely buying Nico Collins cards. Numbered out of 2, playbook with Nike patch here, on-card auto, 205. Yeah, so people are throwing down some dough on Nico Collins, gold out of 10. Still, though, numbered out of 40, blue optic on-card autograph. Love these optic on-card autographs. Can't speak highly about them enough. Look at a Contenders rookie ticket auto variation here, 1350. Some very interesting options. You can definitely see before these were cards that would end 99 cents, $5 in auction, and now they're getting 8 bids. And I think that Nico Collins is absolutely a guy we're going to see appreciate throughout the season based on his performance. So it'll be interesting. I think he's got a pretty high ceiling, man. Pretty high ceiling. And big fan of Nico Collins, looking for him. Yeah, I'm not sleeping on Mr. Reliable Brandon Cooks, but Brandon Cooks does not generate FOMO. Brandon Cooks heading into his, 8th year now in the NFL. We know he's good for 1,000 receiving yards, but he doesn't generate FOMO. We have not seen the true ceiling of Nico Collins. So, and that's what people are chasing. They're chasing a ceiling that could be like Mike Evans. We're chasing a ceiling that could lead to a future Hall of Fame trajectory, a future top 5 wide receiver trajectory. And I think that's what people are chasing. And the prices aren't baked in yet, but we do see the increase in appreciation. And that's what generates those types of wild price spikes. And not going to check the box of playoff potential, a lot of wins this year, but we are going to check the box of athleticism, great quarterback, solid market size, a lot of targets, and a lot of production. So I think Nico is probably a guy you can pick up now and maybe flip at different points this year, just because he goes from such a low price point, say a $10 rookie ticket auto, to now a $30 to $40 rookie ticket auto. For him to get to an 80 to 100, now we're going to need some wins. We're going to need him to really step out and become like number 1 wide receiver. You could look at Justin Jefferson. His team didn't make the playoffs, but he's still arguably the hottest 2020 wide receivers because he's broke Randy Moss's rookie record. He's incredibly productive, above and beyond any other wide receiver virtually in the league besides, Cooper Kupp. So that's the kind of thing you have to do if you're not checking the box of being on a super winning team, that kind of thing. Andrew G, Donruss rated rookie, $85 is a great buy. I agree. Good deals are drying up. I'm pivoting to grading with SGC because they return very quickly. Get your slabs listed the first couple weeks of the season. Nice. Yeah, and if the grades come back bad, then it's an easy crack out. Awesome, man. Awesome. So, awesome, man. Guys, I had a blast this morning hanging out with you guys. If you have any other questions in the chat, let's see. Joseph, what's good, man? I don't think I've seen Joseph in the stream before. Welcome to the quest, Joseph. What's your opinion on Bowman University? Is it worth chasing players still in college like Bowers or Tyler Van Dyke? Well, Tyler Van Dyke is a very interesting profile. I do think it's worth chasing Bowman University if you are targeting the ones that are Bowman Chrome with the first logo, potentially with the refractor, rainbow shine on it, potentially autographed and or serial numbered, or some of those rare case hits like the big kahunas and stuff, especially on guys that are still in college, not coming out of until next year's draft. I would just target those cards that have the scarcity around them. Like, definitely don't want to just pick up base cards of Bowers and Tyler Van Dyke because the product didn't do as well. There's singles from the product that are doing well. And those guys aren't going to have pro uniform cards for like I'm already looking at the Panini release schedule. They don't even have Donruss on the schedule yet for September. I just got a notification that Prism Draft Picks is going to be released mid-September. So their release calendar is still delayed. It is still delayed. They have still not caught back up. I'm not expecting base Donruss for 2022 rookies to be out till like probably mid-November or maybe not that late, maybe October, hopefully. But there's no release date for it yet. And Prism Draft Picks is in September 16th now. So we're talking still a delayed release calendar. Those Bowman U cards, if the player's coming out next year, then that's a perfectly fine product to target for them. I mean, because they look good, in comparison to the Leaf or the Sage. I would say Bowman U is better than Sage. There's still a lot of guys for football that like the Leaf autograph cards. I think the Leaf makes a really nice card because they're unlicensed. So when you're talking unlicensed, Bowman U is unlicensed, Leaf is unlicensed. So they're licensed directly to the player. So, hey, if they're not coming out till next year, then I like it. I definitely like it. Victor said bigger year for Judy or Bateman. Is it Judy because you would think the Broncos would throw more? I think the Broncos are gonna throw a lot for sure. Yeah, they're allowing Nathaniel Hackett said all season he's going to allow Russell Wilson to run this offense. He's going to let him be like a Tom Brady out there. So it'll be interesting to see how Russell Wilson decides to, run his pass to run ratio. I think it's going to be pretty balanced. You have good running backs there in Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon. He just lost Tim Patrick, so I think that's going to be an uptick in targets for Judy. Cortland Sutton, I still is my favorite, whereas Bateman is definitely the clear alpha on his team. I think you're going to have a bigger year for Bateman. But it's close. I mean, you could go either way with that. It could be Judy or Bateman, to be honest with you, but Bateman's a clear number one on his team. I think Bateman's going to have a bigger target share. I also think Bateman plays a slightly different role. He plays an X role, whereas Judy, I think Judy is going to line up more at Z. So it'll be interesting. I think Bateman has a better year overall. That's my prediction. But Pittman, RT, and Lamar's arm is looking good. A lot of people say run heavy offense. Yeah, sure, they're run heavy offense. Lamar takes a run, but they still pass the ball quite a bit too. I think that they're going to be forced to pass the ball, especially in that division. The teams they got to play, they're going to be forced to pass the ball. It's going to be a lot of shootouts. Bot Pittman, RTA Blue. Love me some Michael Pittman Jr. Out of 75 for 120. Wow. Okay. So you definitely paid a premium for that, Andrew. But this is the thing. So Pittman's going to really have to break out for you to because go and look at what a blue Justin Jefferson out of 75 is going for to really kind of get an idea, or a CeeDee Lamb to get an idea of what you could be looking at. If Pittman can get to their level of production, I think you could be looking at somewhere in the 200, 250 range, but he's going to have to get to their level of production, which he's capable of with Matt Ryan for sure. And, I think you could see that. Also, it's definitely a card that you want to maybe hold till the playoffs. I would list it around like 249. And, it's that's high for sure. But you definitely paid a solid premium on it. James says, Snipe, Antonio Gibson 2021 Contenders Optic Red, White and Blue Prism, SSP numbered 07 out of 13. Well, so that's a second-year card, or did you? Yeah, Broncos definitely passing the ball more than the Ravens. I agree, Derek, but I don't know. I mean, Judy could absolutely end up getting the majority of targets. Like he could end up having a a larger target share and breaking out with Russ. Absolutely, in the range of outcomes. It's close, man. It's close. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. Second year card here. What yeah, so I think you're on to something here, James, because it is super rare. Like, right? It is numbered out of 13, 07 out of 13, red, white, and blue. So I love the scarcity here. Absolutely love the scarcity here. But second year, yeah, I mean, what's the price point? Judy, if healthy, is a stud, probably as he has soft as baby poo. 10 minutes left. Oh, you want me to try and pull it up? All right, let me see if I can pull this up. 10 minutes left. Let's see if we can pull this sucker up. I do think Antonio Gibson is undervalued big time, and he's a guy that just checks the athletic profile box for me. I mean, his athletic profile is so good. So good. And he has such few carries on his resume. Ending soonest, auction, and sold listings, auction, ending soonest. Oh, there you go. Yeah, I mean, I think it's cool. If I was it doesn't have an autograph, but it is super rare at this price point, $9.99. I mean, it is super rare, but it's also not a rookie card for a guy that hasn't really, like, he's been solid and he's got the potential to absolutely break out and just destroy defenders. But and I think at that point, this card would be an easy flip. Like, if you got it for $10, he doesn't have. You're not asking for a whole lot to get to what you would sell it for 20, 30, because it's not a rookie card. That's the only thing. Now it is it's a gorgeous card, but it doesn't have an autograph and it's not a rookie. What it does have is some color match, some nice texturing design, and the extreme scarcity. So, I mean, yeah, at this price point, I would consider that a snipe. And when he does break out, I think that's an easy flip. You're going to profit just based on how much you paid into it at. I got to get on some more underdog drafts here very soon. So, all right, guys, time for me to run. I hope you've enjoyed this morning live stream. I hope you guys have a great Friday, and I will see you soon in that next video. Peace.